They should give you the facts. That's all we have for today. We ask you, out of respect, to think about whether what you've heard would really suggest to anybody anything other than would be completely irresponsible abuse of power to do what they're asking you to do. To stop
time for the mission. Get ready.
An election, to interfere in an election, and to remove the President of the United States as let the people decide for themselves. That's what the founders wanted. That's what we should all want. And with that, I thank you for your attention, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday.
And there you have the president's legal team using just 2 hours on this Saturday morning to make the beginning of their case of why the president should not be removed from office. We have a team of correspondents covering what we've heard today, as well as a panel of experts. Want to bring in Nancy Cordes on Capitol Hill. And Nancy, they said the Democrats said we weren't going to bring facts. These are the facts as we see them, and said, they tried to portray essentially these House managers as disingenuous. Nancy, what did you hear this morning?
Well, the central case that I heard the president's defense making today is that the president had other reasons for holding up $400 billion or so of military aid to Ukraine beyond the case that the House impeachment managers were making, that he was holding it up because he wanted Ukraine to launch some bogus investigations. What the president's defense team is arguing is that the president had 2 other reasons. One, a concern about burden sharing, a concern that other countries weren't doing their fair share to help Ukraine, and 2, that the president had big concerns about corruption in Ukraine, and he didn't want to send American money that way until he had some assurances that the money was going to be spent wisely. The problem with that defense is that no one was given that explanation at the time that the money was being held up. And a lot of people were asking, including the top Republican in the Senate, who's a member of that jury, Mitch McConnell, who said that he asked both the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Defense why this money was being held up. He was given no explanation. And many of the witnesses in the House impeachment inquiry, including the president's own ambassador to the EU, Gordon Sondland, said that they came to the understanding that this money was not going to flow until the president got the investigations announced that he wanted into Joe Biden. So that is a fundamental discrepancy between the president's defense and what a number of the witnesses have said. Now, what the defense team will argue is that those witnesses didn't have first-hand knowledge, or they didn't speak to the president themselves. Nevertheless, nearly every witness who testified said that this is what they understood based on their conversations with people who were surrounding the president.
And how many of the witnesses before the House inquiry suggested that it was not about burden sharing, that it was about a political effort to gain this investigation against the Bidens?
Well, off the top of my head, there was Gordon Sondland, who said that he came to understand that this was a quid pro quo. It was Bill Taylor, the top U.S. Diplomat in Ukraine, who said that it was crazy to condition U.S. aid on an investigation like this. You had individuals in the White House, like Alexander Vindman, who was the president's top advisor on Ukraine. You had individuals at the State Department, like George Kent, who ran Ukraine policy at the State Department. So you had individuals across the government, Nora, in real time, who all believed, if they didn't right away in July, came to understand as the summer went on that this money was being withheld because the president and his personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, who we also know now from contemporaneous texts and emails, was pushing Ukrainian leaders very hard to open these investigations. He has said so himself on Fox News and to other conservative outlets. So the argument now that the withholding of the money had to do with something else, and
Airdrop has been delivered.
All right, Nancy Cordes on Capitol Hill, stand by with us. Want to bring in Weijia Zhang at the White House because we also heard from the president's lead White House counsel, Pat Cipollone, who also opened up the remarks today in the presentation by saying that this was an effort by the Democratic Party to overturn the last election, that the president did nothing wrong, and in his words, they are asking you to tear up the ballots. And then he said instead of reading the transcript from July 25th.
And Nora, this is going to be a central part of their argument going forward, too. It's ironic because they're pointing the finger at Democrats saying that this is purely political, but certainly they are taking every chance they have to remind voters that they have a dog in this hunt. And so we will see them continue to say that, the Democrats just want to overturn the results of the 2016 election and try to interfere in the 2020 election. They have made that clear. And, they're really trying to get eyeballs on what happened today. President Trump was really irritated. He called it Death Valley. You can watch CBSN 24/7.
I've got an amazing story to share with you.
Let's talk about the latest developments. There's so many levels to this.
We have a CBS News exclusive.
Fires in California. What happens next? And how does it all play out?
We are on a mission with NASA.
I understand you have some breaking news.
It's not over yet, is the bottom line.
This is a massive operation.
Another adventure here at CBSN.
For the day.
High-profile attorneys, and so he cares a lot about the appearance, he cares a lot about their performance, and he wants to make sure that people see that so they can remember
Welcome to
this
Battle
when they
Royale.
go to the
The
ballot
match is
in
about to
November.
start.
All right, Weijia Zhang at the White House, thank you. Let's bring in our panel. Major Garrett is our chief Washington correspondent. Paula Reed covers the White House. Republican political strategist and CBS News contributor Terry Sullivan is here, and CBS News legal analyst Tim Miller is visiting at Professor at University. Good to have all of you here. Let's talk about that argument. While not novel from the White House, it was stunning to hear them really double down on the issue that really that call and the reason that they withheld the aid was not about seeking a quid pro quo, not about a political personal favor, but was about burden sharing.
I was surprised to hear them lead off with that, but this is something that the president has advocated on the campaign, this argument that America pays too much. They do too much in the world. That's an argument that will resonate with their base, but what really struck me is the other theme that they wove throughout this is the lack of due process. We're in a Republican-controlled Senate. The rules of this procedure were dictated by Mitch McConnell. These lawyers refused to participate in the House, and in the Senate, they've refused to provide documents, refused to provide witnesses. So that's another argument. It doesn't line up with the facts, but it does line up, according to my sources, with how the president feels. So it appears they are appealing to him, and again, his supporters, to argue this has not been fair to him, in the hope, again, that he will see that he's been heard and hopefully not push too much more for witnesses.
Just to present the facts on this, the White House team was invited to present. Not only were they asked to provide evidence and witnesses, they also were given the opportunity and declined. I think there was actually a letter from the White House lead lawyer, Pat Cipollone.
Several letters where they declined to recognize the legitimacy of the House proceedings. They refused to turn over documents and refused, of course, as we know, to allow certain White House officials to participate.
Right. Go ahead.
I was just saying, well, I will say though, when the hearing started off with Adam Schiff actually coming up with a false transcript, as we saw the video today, that something that didn't happen, you can't really blame the White House for thinking, hey, the fix is in. Maybe we don't want to participate in this. And so I think that was, look, there's been bad faith on both sides here. And when Adam Schiff kicks it off with his fake testimony or what the fake transcript, I think that sets the tone.
There was no doubt a misstep by the House chairman from the beginning.
There are a lot of historical analogies to draw upon here. I just think it's important to remind people, when we talk about Watergate, there was a special prosecutor who had a grand jury and assembled evidence. In the Clinton impeachment, there was an independent counsel who had a grand jury and assembled evidence. In this case, when the whistleblower complaint was reviewed by the Justice Department said no federal laws are implicated here, meaning nothing is going to happen. What did the House Democrats have a choice of? Agreeing that nothing is going to happen or create an investigatory body? They created an investigatory body, by definition partisan. Okay, that's one of the White House's central complaint. Well, this investigation is partisan. How could it not be? The House Democratic majority made a decision to put together a team to investigate this. When they talk about the bunker and the secret depositions, that is essentially a grand jury. You have no due process rights in this country to appear before a grand jury. And the White House complained about that, though legitimate from their point of view, is not the same as complaining about Watergate or Clinton. Because in both of those cases, you had an outside entity collecting evidence before a grand jury. Here, the Democratic entity collected that. The White House doesn't like that, but that's the central difference between those two previous impeachments, and it goes to trying to separate these. They're not all the same. And the investigatory impulse was not the same.
Well, let's ask him about that, because she worked with Ken Starr, certainly during the Clinton time. What did you make of the defense today?
I thought it was, on the one hand, good in that it came across as sort of legitimate, frankly, in a world where there isn't a coherent legal or factual counter narrative. But it was very scattershot, kind of picking up these little tidbits. A great point on due process. You can go to jail without your lawyer going to the grand jury. I mean, the implications for regular people are much more substantial. But what I thought was interesting is that Pat Cipollone said in his introduction that we will show the president was acting in our national interest. That is really the heart of the first article of impeachment. He also talked about, the president has control over foreign policy. But here we have Congress that authorized the aid. So the question really is, what is the reason for withholding it? And they admitted that's important. The other thing is, he says impeachment shouldn't be a shell game. Of course, that's what the second article of impeachment is about. And both Nixon and Clinton had obstruction as a basis for their impeachment. So the idea that obstructing Congress is off the reservation, so to speak, is just not historically accurate. And of course, it's also a crime to obstruct Congress. So I think they set themselves up in a way that could make them vulnerable. But I was happy to see they were arguing, as he said, on the merits, I think for the first time.
And Paula, what they also remain a case. So these are the, the Democrats want to talk about the facts. We'll show you the facts, and these are the facts that were hidden by them in their presentation.
Exactly. They really like that. They were hiding the facts from you. And they also tried to emphasize that this was just about one call, though. And we know, actually, the evidence that's been presented suggests it was a campaign that took place over several years. Now, they argue that they've been hiding the evidence, but as I noted before, they have tried to block subpoenas. They have not cooperated in providing evidence. They also accuse Democrats of cherry-picking certain evidence, and then they would flash the transcript, which is actually not a transcript, it's a partial record, and then cherry-pick quotes from those transcripts. So it's interesting. While they were addressing the facts, I agree, it was much more substantive than I expected, not as much fire and fury. They, too, were doing what lawyers do, which is you select the facts that are most favorable to your client, a client, I might add, who has not yet weighed in at all.
Well, except for the transcript, right? They talked a lot about circumstantial evidence, but we do have the transcript where the president asks Zelensky to look into the Bidens, to look into CrowdStrike and the Ukrainian, the alleged, the debunked Ukrainian interference in the election. And so people need to understand circumstantial evidence isn't bad evidence. Harvey Weinstein, we're hearing from women who are not actually part of the actual prosecution, but talking about their experiences with him. You can draw conclusions from circumstantial evidence, but here this transcript is arguably direct.
Call summary.
Oh, the call summary. Thank you.
Yes. So we call it a call summary because it is not. There's not a complete transcript of this. This was in a recording that we have seen, so we call it a call summary. However, and the White House has said that they were fully transparent in releasing this, and it does also mention, of course, that he does talk about the Bidens in this, as we know. That did not hear that from the White House counsel today. Well, this was just a small preview of what we are going to hear from the White House team. Just 2 hours. They are allotted 24, although we heard from the White House's lead lawyer they don't believe they will need that time. Our coverage will continue on our 24-hour streaming network, CBSN. There will be more on your local news on this CBS station, and there will be a full wrap-up on the CBS Weekend News. This has been a CBS News special report. I'm Nora O'Donnell, CBS News, Washington.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rena Niden. Thank you for joining us. Day 5 of President Trump's impeachment trial has concluded. Saturday, the president's legal team got its first opportunity to present their opening arguments. The president's legal team, led by White House counsel Pat Cipollone, pushed to debunk off the 24 hours of arguments that was laid out by House Democrats over the past week. They accused Democrats of selectively picking evidence, and they emphasized their belief that the president did nothing wrong. I want to bring in Zeke Miller and Joseph Moreno. Zeke's a CBSN political contributor and a White House reporter for the Associated Press. Joseph is a former national security prosecutor for the Justice Department. Zeke, I want to start with you. We know that the president's personal attorney, Jay Sekulow, said Saturday's testimony would sort of serve as a trailer of what's to come. How did we see that play out today?
We've got different arguments presented by the four different lawyers who spoke today. Pat Cipollone providing sort of a 30,000-foot view of where things were. Mike Popura presenting sort of the White House's version of the president's communications with Ukraine. Then you saw Jay Sekulow get up and sort of and kind of put this in the context from the president's perspective of what he views to be a campaign to discredit him and undermine and reverse the question to the rest of the heard things like the Mueller report come up, private courts, and things like that, and all of that. And then Pat Spilding come up and sort of, again, get down into the details and the weeds of the substance of the matter. It is an indication that the president's legal team is mounting a defense on multiple fronts, on the substance, but then also in a political context. Jay Sekulow's remarks were certainly politically tinged and appealing to an audience not in the room among the senators. That was really aimed at the American public and also the president, who has been very clear about how he views impeachment in the context of all of the other investigations that he has faced in office.
All right, Joseph, I want to bring you in as well for the legal perspective. This is a live look on Capitol Hill. We're also monitoring the mics there on the ground to see if anyone will come out and speak, and we'll bring back to you live as well. Joseph, how do you evaluate the way that the president's legal team opened its argument?
Hi, Irina. So from a strategic perspective, I think they were really smart to keep it short, basically preview what we will continue to see starting on Monday, when more likely there will be more eyes on them. I think they were a little scattershot. They were not very passionate, but they did a good job. And I think keeping it succinct, you can't overstate the importance of that, of knowing your audience, because while the Democrats over the last couple of days, they did a really solid, comprehensive job, it must have been painful for their audience to sit there for so many hours. And you do have to be cognizant of how your audience is receiving you in a case like this. So I think in terms of timing, it was a good job. And look, like people have already commented, a lot more substance than perhaps some of us predicted. I mean, the president doesn't just want to get this dismissed. He wants to be vindicated. And so therefore his team is going after not just the process of how the president has been impeached, but the underlying case. And there's dangers that come with that.
I want to also bring in CBS News White House correspondent Weijia Zhang. Weijia, my understanding was we thought this would go till 1. Was that correct? Are you surprised that it seemed a touch shorter today?
Well, from the very beginning, White House counsel Pat Cipollone said that at most it would go until 1, and we were expecting that they would only take 2 or 3 hours, again, for the very reason we just heard, that the president wants it to be showcased during a time where he feels there will be eyes on it. He tweeted that Saturday television was, quote, the death valley of TV, and we know Mr. Trump is extremely cognizant of, of television appearances and the media, and so he's annoyed that this is playing out on a weekend. So I'm not that surprised that they really just gave a sneak preview of what's to come, but I do think it's interesting how much they've packed in there in terms of substance and in terms of the facts. We knew that they were going to attack the facts head on and not just focus on the process and on the political motivations that they say the Democrats have, but they really talked about the other reasons that President Trump may have withheld this aid, that it was not just for his own political, personal gain, but it's because he truly cares about national security, he truly cares about where taxpayer dollars are going, and they give examples also of, other times he has held up aid. So they're really trying to lay this foundation for what they're going to build starting next week to show that even if what the Democrats have presented is all factually correct, the White House is going to argue, so what? The president did nothing wrong because he was just trying to protect Americans, and that's why he withheld that aid. wait until he felt comfortable releasing it. And so I did think it was, a good move, not just to focus so much on the talking points we've heard so much of, which is, of course, that this is just a political witch hunt. And so I think, we should expect a lot more of this to come, according to, the many sources that are working with the president's legal team who we've heard from.
Ouija, I want to play for you. You mentioned White House counsel Pat Cipollone. I want to play for you a soundbite from the Trump's opening arguments today.
They're asking you not only to overturn the results of the last election, but as I've said before, they're asking you to remove President Trump from the ballot in an election that's occurring in approximately 9 months. They're asking you to tear up all of the ballots across this country on your own initiative. Take that decision away from the American people.
I want to also show you a live look there on Capitol Hill. We're standing by any moment now. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is going to address what we heard today from the White House counsel with Democrats. We're going to bring that to you live as soon as he gets to the mics there. But Ouija, back to Pat Cipollone and the argument he was laying out today. Why does the White House believe that argument that we just heard from Cipollone is such an important one going into this?
So they're talking directly to the president's supporters and directly to the president's base, and they want to remind them that they do have a dog in this hunt. And we've heard this from the very beginning, that this is purely political, and they're calling this the Mueller Report 2.0 because the president and his team argues that from the day he took office, Democrats have mentioned impeachment. Their entire end goal was to impeach this president, and that they were just looking for ways that they could achieve that. And so, in talking to advisors to the White House, this is a simple case to make. The president believes if he really hammers home the fact that Democrats are just trying to undermine him and them, that they will get riled up and they will have a new wave of enthusiasm to support him and make their decision come November. Because we've heard time and time again that this story is actually very complicated for the average person to follow who is not following every twist and turn. But what they can't understand is that, the Democrats are just out to get President Trump. And so I don't think this is the end of it.
The guillotine being carried through Puerto Rico.
Every time something happens that's a significant
They want those
development, they
officials.
send out texts,
Funny
they send out
part.
emails.
Remember when they had their little earthquake for whatever storm that happened? And they was all on Trump.
So angry
like
that
literally,
the Democrats
all
are
the
trying
public
to,
officials was on Trump's ass, y'all.
And their choice
Oh, he didn't help us, but at the same time, there was people already sending donations, money. Thing with Jennifer Lopez, if you ever top Spanish people, was already sending help to Puerto Rico.
Presented their legal argument today and doing it in about 2 hours.
The aid,
I
all those funds made it to Puerto Rico, but the people didn't see it until
a lot of things to do on Saturdays, right? So in that sense, he could be right.
Just think, all those public officials down there, those Democrats.
Eyes were on this, and that's why his director of social media actually tweeted out a live link that if you saw, the president's account or his account, you could watch it live on your phone, so it doesn't matter if you're in front of a television or not, because they really want to get their message across. This is the first time that we're hearing from the president's defense team. He has largely been the defender-in-chief. He's been the one defending himself out here publicly. We've seen very little from his press aides, at least during the House proceedings. And so this was really a chance to start getting their message across in a way that they can control the narrative. And so that's why he was so worried that people weren't going to see this. But he did tweet, and he did make sure that people knew where they could watch this, because again, it's so important to him that his message is received.
I want to thank you, Ouija James, joining us there. As you see the live shot there, the podium there on Capitol Hill, Chuck Schumer, Senate Minority Leader, is going to speak. We're going to hear the other side of what the Democrats had to say about the strategy laid out. Zeke, I want to turn to you. Deputy White House counsel Michael Purpura focused heavily on the call between President Trump and also Ukraine's
President Zelensky, why does the president's legal team that call is so central to the argument the Democrats argue it's central to their case as well?
Well, if you in a way what really started all of this, so
Live from the world headquarters of RT America in our nation's capital, this is the news
Litecoin
with Rick
Plus.
Sanchez.
Look at that.
Let me give you some context on this first, because like most stories, this situation in Iraq didn't just happen overnight. I mean, this is something that's been building for quite some time now. So back in October, as we reported right here, there were protests in Baghdad, to the west, in the infamous Mountain Green Zone, and the southern part of the country. Protesters were angry about U.S. interference and accused the United States of installing a government, and then accused that government of endemic corruption, high unemployment, inadequate public services. As a result, the Prime Minister stepped down. That wasn't enough, because by December, protesters began asking for U.S. troops to leave their country again. January 6th.
Welcome to Battle Royale.
To
The match is about to
U.S.
start.
troops. It does so the day after the funeral of Qasem Soleimani, sending an apparent message
Time for the mission.
support
Get ready.
to the U.S. general announces that U.S. troops will leave. That's a message from the White House saying the opposite, that troops are not going to leave. President Trump threatens Iraq with sanctions for not wanting U.S. troops on its soil. So all of that gone. Now this. Take a look at this. Look at this video. This is video coming from Baghdad today. Right now. Reporters on the scene describing the sea of people stretching for miles and miles. Tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of people marching while massive. The demonstrations have been peaceful thus far. We saw the million-strong march. And it's called to demand that the U.S. remove the 5,000 troops from Iraqi soil. That call for the protest was initiated, by the way, by Iraqi Shia leader Muqtada al-Sadr. Given the call for U.S. troops to leave late last year, then from the parliament, and now this massive march, what's the U.S. going to do, right? More importantly, notwithstanding an exit, will Washington be comfortable with the role then of occupier if it doesn't leave? Is there another name for it? This is the news with Rick Sanchez, where we believe it's time to do news again.
Blood.
All right, here we go. The list of the questions we think you're going to be asking tomorrow. If the U.S. stays in Iraq against the wishes of Iraqis,
I could just leave it, yo. We're not a police state, bro. Leave them alone. F it.
Ambitions.
There's other people that need our help.
Are the Ukrainian nationalist ties to Nazi Germany, and why should we care? But let's go ahead and begin tonight with this seemingly compelling argument that's being made by the people of Iraq. It would appear that the country is very dissatisfied with the presence of our troops there, and keeping them there may only make the situation more tenuous. Putting this all together for us tonight is our people's comment, John Hunt.
Whether or not 1 million or more people showed up for the million-man march in Baghdad today is unclear and frankly is irrelevant now. It was certainly a massive turnout that spoke volumes about Iraqis' anger towards the United States and an end to the one of many in Iraq over recent months, a country beleaguered by war.
Damn, $120. Oh, wow.
Almost daily against not only the U.S. presence there and America's 5,000 troops, but the current government led by Iraqi President Assad, who met with President Trump this week at the World Economic Forum in Switzerland. Both leaders touted their friendship and fight against extremism.
Very difficult things to discuss and some very positive things also.
We have had an enduring
Like they ain't got no.
the United States has been
Wow, it suck,
in the war against ISIS. This mission needs to be accomplished, and I believe you and I share the same mission for a stable, sovereign Iraq that is at peace with itself and at peace with its neighbors.
And one major point of discussion between both leaders that wasn't addressed in the press availability anyway was undoubtedly the ongoing tension, political and military drama between the U.S. and Iran and the fallout from the U.S. attack on Iraq that put Iranian General Qasem Soleimani, after which Iran then retaliated with a missile attack of its own on the Al Assad air base in western Iraq, home to some 1,500 U.S. troops and about 2,000 coalition forces. As we now know, no one was killed, but several dozen service members were injured, some seriously, with concussions, and from what we're hearing now, possibly brain trauma. The attack has raised the specter of war between the U.S. and Iran, with perhaps Iraq and others being caught in the middle militarily and politically. President Trump's meeting with Iraq's president this week, pro-Iranian militias, including in Iraq, called the meeting treacherous, with one Hezbollah spokesperson reportedly saying that Iraqi President Saleh should be banished from Iraq. The question now, will there be another event that will catapult the region into war?
Oh, so they got all of them. They got changes.
Sanchez, John Huddy.
Thanks so much. From Iraq, we move to Israel, where leaders plan to gather to commemorate the Holocaust. More on that in just a little bit. We'll check news time. Yesterday, while in New York, President Putin suggested a meeting in 2020 between the leaders of Russia, China, the U.S., France, the United Kingdom, to discuss the Libya situation, which still remains dire. All this is spurred on by Turkey's recent announcement
Gravy, I can have that one.
stands in support of the UN-backed government of Libya. But the Turkish has ulterior motive. The whole world seems to think so. Word is, it usually does. Here's the question: is Turkish President
That's like the cheese.
on the seat at the table with other nations who want to check Libya's future? Here's something else I got to tell you about Erdogan, because I think this is very salient. So, a few months ago, Erdogan openly declared that he wants Turkey to have nuclear warheads, saying that criticizing the West for mandating who can or who can't have nuclear weapons. He says they have no right to do that. Here's the words he uses. He says, we can't have them. This I cannot accept. RT's correspondent Rachel Robbins has more on this story for us tonight.
Weeks after Turkey and Libya announced a controversial maritime agreement, the Prime Minister of Greece is now arguing that it is illegal under international law and should not be recognized as legitimate.
Libya and Turkey don't have any approach on this. So you cannot sign a delimitation agreement regarding maritime agreements. In this case, what has been signed completely disregards the fact that islands have the right to an exclusive economic zone, which goes against everything we know in international law.
The agreement creates an exclusive economic zone in the Mediterranean between Turkey and Libya. There are also concerns over Cyprus, where the northern third of the island remains occupied by Turkey following the peace between Turkey and Greece from the 1970s. While Ankara claims the latest maritime treaty allows for fair sharing, Greece is accusing Turkey of trying to gain a monopoly on East Mediterranean gas.
This is not just about Greece versus Turkey. This is about the Eastern Mediterranean. It's about energy security. It's about the ability to build a pipeline that actually brings gas from the Eastern Mediterranean to the European Union, whether it's Cypriot gas, Israeli gas, potentially Greek gas. You don't need Turkish permission to do that.
In response to the deal, Greece expelled Libya's ambassador back in the city. Cambridge officials were seen holding talks with a Libyan warlord and a U.S. citizen who was working to overthrow the U.S. government, Khalifa Haftar, last to when the Ottoman Empire, which originated in modern-day Turkey, held peace, and the land it controlled included Greece and Libya. While the leadership may be different today, experts argue that Turkey still holds itself as morally superior to the Arab nations and even Islam itself, with President Erdogan channeling the revolutionary Ataturk, who is quoted as saying, "Islam, this ideology of an immortal Arab, is a dead thing." Possibly it might have suited the tribesmen in desert, keeping the bridge between modern and progressive faith. The current conflict has also expanded to include Egypt and Israel, with reports noting that the countries have invested heavily in energy exploration in the region and are alarmed by the Turkey-Libya move, which may threaten their ability to export gas to Europe. Now, it remains to be seen whether any of these leaders will back down, how Turkey threatens to use the agreement with Libya to start drilling commercial gas.
Oh, she shot that.
It's a good report, very comprehensive. And Michael Maloof is a former Pentagon official. He joins us now. I think the word here is there's no question that Turkey and its leader, Erdogan, is trying to assert itself. And it seems to want to do it almost in a jealous way, in a big way. What's going on, Michael?
Well, he's trying to create a neo-Ottoman empire, and he takes his guidance from the founder of modern-day Turkey, Ataturk, in which Ataturk said that defense of Turkey is not through just at your nation state, but to a region. And the ultimate reason why you're seeing this occur today by Erdogan, he feels that he's in a political position by balancing East and West, and he gives him leverage, and at the same time, he's in competition with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, but you know what? The thing about Erdogan is I think he's very good at playing both sides against the middle, right?
Yes.
I mean, if you're a poker player, he's good.
And he's done a very good job of that. A lot of it has to do with the fact that he's not crazy about NATO any longer. Or the EU, he was basically shoved out of that, and he's looking more eastward. He has more to gain by looking eastward at this point in cooperation, in conjunction with Russia, China, Iran, Pakistan, the whole Shanghai Cooperation Organization.
I was born in Cuba. We think we're the best people in the world. We think we should have more power than any country. My Russian friends think the same thing. My French friends think the same thing. I'm sure we were for nations. Right. So everybody thinks that we have the right. We've got to be heard. What makes Turkey different?
Well, they have more leverage today, and because they are in a very critical region of the world, they are the bridge between East and West. You're seeing, for example, Erdogan working very hard by playing each side off. He's created this new corridor initiative, which will bridge China under the Belt and Road Initiative with all of Europe. And he has leverage over Europe because he has 3 million Syrian refugees that he can flood in any time.
And he's in NATO.
And he's in NATO.
But yet he's well, I'm not saying he's besties with Putin, but he's got a great relationship, it seems. I don't know. He does. He's with Vladimir Putin.
Increasingly, he's buying more and more military arms, and he's looking for ways to bring away from diplomacy on the U.S., and we're seeing Turkey being close to Iran. They all have a vested interest in the future economic alternative to war to get out from under the dollar.
Finally, let's talk about this nuclear thing. Okay. For him to come out and say, who the hell, I mean, he didn't say who the hell, who the hell does the West think it is to tell us that we can or cannot have nuclear arms? I don't want them telling me what I can or cannot have. That's pretty bold for a guy to say that.
You got a person who's very prideful, and he's not going to be dictated to by the United States or anybody else. Not that they need him, but at the same time, it's just a nationalistic thing. You don't tell us as a Turkish national what we will or will not do. You have nuclear weapons. If we want them, we'll get them. But no. Really? No, once again, but he has the capability. He has the capacity to develop a nuclear weapons capability if he chose to go that route. But why would he need it?
I'm a lousy poker player, but I think this guy is pretty good.
Well, he's very good. He's very shrewd. and he's at a critical time now where he can play sides off with one another, just as he's doing with Trump and with Putin. And I think he's waiting for the eventual time when he's going to shift eastward ultimately.
Yeah, he wants to be in Syria. He wants to be in Libya. He wants to be.
Oh yeah, you're seeing this all as part of the extension of the Neo-Ottoman Empire. That safe zone up in Syria. Will he ever leave? No. He wanted territory from Aleppo all the way to Mosul in Iraq. He has bases there. You see him extending his influence into Qatar.
It's a fascinating development, one I hope we can stay on top of, because I think there's more to come. Thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Online.
You know, Airbnb came out this week and said that it's trying to change the way that it does business. It's why a bevy of new companies are pledging to make a commitment to a positive contribution to society. It's even talking about sharing its profits with workers. That's crazy, right? Remember, the idea of business is usually to simply make a lot of money, right? For its owners, for its shareholders. That's what businesses are supposed to be. This is supposed to be the sacrosanct way that business is done, especially reinforced since the Reagan administration. It's all been kind of put in our heads, right? You're a good American, that's what we believe in. Well, here comes Airbnb saying, no, we want to change that model somewhat. So we covered this story a little bit yesterday, but I wanted to get somebody else's take on this. Dr. Richard Wolff, he writes about this, he talks about this, he's an econ professor, a really cool podcast Economic Report.
Make him dance.
What do you make of this story that the Wall Street Journal and everybody else is running with Airbnb trying to say, we're going to change the way business is done in this capitalistic society of ours?
Well, to be honest with you, Rick, and I know your program last week, I don't think there's much here. I think this is a bit more PR, and let me explain why. You're absolutely right. Back in the 70s and 80s, the Reagan Revolution, or Margaret Thatcher in England, we were now going to take the gloves off and tell everybody what capitalism is really about. It's the bottom line, profit. That's what we should be doing. That's what we are going to be doing. It's not our job as businesses to take care of the needs of society. So here we are, half a century later, and what do we have? We have a situation where there's more criticism of capitalism than we ever had 50 years ago, and there's more interest in socialism than we had 50 years ago, because there's lots of populism, so forth, in the world. People are very unhappy. Capitalism has been very good, but for a very small minority of the people, the rest feel left out. And I think what you're seeing is the effort of corporations to get out from under the very bad PR and the bad cloud that 50 years of their behavior has put over them. And so at least what they're going to do, word salad. They're going to give verbiage. They're going to give, lip talk to this. But I don't see much coming because I don't see the change strong enough yet to force them to go beyond verbalism.
Yeah, it sounds like you're saying all they're doing is throwing in the bone. Nothing really serious.
We've taken the lead.
There's no meat on that bone. Let's talk about somebody else. Let's talk about Jamie Dimon.
It's too close.
This guy is really good. If Airbnb is trying to throw the American consumer and society a bone, saying we're going to be different, Jamie Dimon says, no, the hell with all of you. The only way business really works is if we, the business people, make the right decisions and run everything for the bottom line. And he went on CNBC and said the worst thing that's happening in America right now is people don't understand or appreciate capitalism, and some of them are even mentioning socialism, which is the worst evil the world has ever known. Not exactly the worst, it's pretty damn close. So Bernie Sanders comes back, listens to him, and puts out this tweet. Listen to this. Bernie writes, that's funny. Jamie Dimon seemed fine with corporate socialism, and his tech got a $416 billion bailout from American taxpayers. I mean, look, whether you're a Bernie bro or not, good on Bernie for essentially which is true. The last guy in the world who should be criticizing socialism
Hostile hunter-killer drone inbound.
Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan, right?
Absolutely. He's the biggest beneficiary of the government coming in that we could imagine. If it takes real
audacity to talk the way Diamond did, given that he's been on the take from the U.S. government on a scale the rest of us can only imagine. So when we talk about socialism, and a lot of people do these days for some reason, I think it's because one of the procedures. It really does have a lot to do with looking at it from a different perspective, that sometimes the ones criticizing socialism are the ones that are actually reaping benefits of something that we could call socialism, right? They're getting money from the government. Absolutely. And they easily went to Washington and got down on their knees and begged for it from the same politicians to whom they donated the money to put them in the position of giving them that kind of reality. And we've all seen it. Okay, it's always great having a conversation with you. Dr. Richard Wolf, I appreciate your time, sir. Happy Friday. Thank you. Glad to be here. Likewise, tonight, world leaders are gathering in Israel to make the anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. Mark the anniversary, I should say. The U.S. President for the lead. Vladimir Putin is going to be there. Russia. We lost the lead. Big countries, all the big countries, except curiously enough, Ukraine. Reloading. President of Ukraine. You're now NRS correspondent Michelle Greenstack. Important beat.
Right, it's the fifth World Holocaust Day.
Israeli sentry gun deployed.
In commemoration of the Soviet Union of the Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration camp. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky announced that his delegation will be giving up their seats so that Holocaust survivors could attend instead. Now, this is after a total of 30 of the 800 seats that actually
What about people that was black folks that was in slavery, Holocaust, and F that. F that. I'm sorry, y'all. That recently happened. Slavery went down, nothing really been done.
Hostiles have destroyed your sentry gun.
Oh, man, F that shit. Bullshit.
That we have assented to survivors who approached us in recent days. Therefore, his decision.
Survivors, yo. Black people are the biggest survivors of anything, yo.
So they're saying that this is not an event for Holocaust survivors. World leaders, so they say his decision was puzzling. But some are actually calling this a strategic move. They say that it could be the Ukrainian attempt to appeal to the right wing in its own country, to appeal to these Western Ukrainian nationalists so that they keep maintaining
When you say Western Ukrainian nationalists, can you say neo-Nazi?
It certainly didn't call that.
Niggas got free money.
There is a history in this country of ties.
He had family that went through that Holocaust. Sorry for you guys. I had ancestors go through it for plenty of years. What can they give black folks? Nothing. The fuck is... What the hell is food stamps, welfare, and all that shit, yo? And there's people that come over here get better benefits than the average American. Refugees get up to like $3,000, $4,000 a month. People that claim that they're Native American Indians get $45,000 a month. Fake people. The $5 Indians. You can come over here wearing a hijab and get a refugee's check and other benefits. You can cover your face, but I can't cover my face. No. I respect a whole bunch of religions, but nah, most of that shit is bullshit. I'm on to trade some crypto, and y'all know y'all just doing fucked up shit. Everybody need help. Keep saying they're in so much trouble. And black people are the main ones that need that backup. We didn't even get no fucking reparation. But people in Holocaust that happened like in the how long ago that shit was? 1950s, 1940s? Y'all got help that fast? Black folks been going through it for years, hanging, getting hanged and all that shit. And y'all want people around the globe to feel bad for you? Man, fuck that shit, yo. Fuck that shit. Hitler hit y'all for a reason, yo. It's not because of your eyes. Cause y'all was faking like y'all Jewish people. I'm sorry, that is what it is, yo. You faking like you're Jewish people. Why you call yourself Jewish now instead of Jew? Yeah, I'm Jewish. Jewish. Then I'm blackish then. I'm not here to sit here and bash y'all, but I can't keep trying to play to make people feel bad for you. You know some of that shit is kind of iffy.
I love that. Michelle. All right, let's do something now called